Let's see. The AI pulled up a couple of old time TV episodes, and see, I jumped in here. What was that, Mama? November 1951, and so it's like I'm looking at a video, a black and white video that was 1950, and these were like films, instructional films that were introduced into classrooms using those old binary film reels. You know, the two reels on the old projectors with a screen in the classroom, and children would learn from what's being presented in the mirror. And so this particular one that I watched, there was two of them actually, but the one that is still on hold right now is called Emotional Maturity. So because I was in junior high school and I was in a high school, so they're showing you a very typical high school, the way that it looked back then, which includes the way that a young lady that's like a freshman or sophomore in high school, and and she has a boyfriend. So he comes out and says, "Hey, aren't we gonna go do something?" And she had decided that there was another guy who apparently was a football player who asked her out for a date, and she accepted that arrangement, which is like a verbal contract. Yeah, and so now we're into soul contracts, volunteers, stuff like that, right? And so the young man, the young gentleman, got upset, like, "You're going out with another guy. Well, wait a second. What about me? Right? So you're leaving me to go be with him, right?" And so the video is sort of instructional to see what is really magnetic reaction states to input an input signal, the signal of intelligence of the consciousness that is using the software to communicate to another unit of consciousness running their template, which is their software. Now he's getting upset, which is an emotion, because of what? Go to chapter 5 in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. One word that I know in the English language is called expectations. He expects her, right, to accommodate him by virtue of a contract that they entered into with each other between soul and spirit. Now that she's deciding that she wants to separate from him to go be with another spirit or another soul, he's upset, right? Let her go. That's what unconditional love is. Let her go. We don't hold energy captive. We don't hold spirits captive. That's her free choice. If she's choosing of her own free choice in spirit form, which is the form and flow of the conscious energy, which is the burn patterns. Now we're into behaviors, emotional reaction states. Yeah, to input, which is the communication between one unit of consciousness and another unit of consciousness. And so you can measure this over time-space vectors, where earlier in the morning when they saw each other in classroom, they were smiling, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's called a reaction state. And then later on in the afternoon when they're outside the classroom and she's getting ready to go be with this other guy, and so this other guy's saying, "Wait a second, what about me and you?" Well, the contract changed. That means the terms and conditions changed. The environmental conditions changed. So now he's going to have to adapt to the new stimulus, of which he's now realizing, I'm back to just being with me and I'm not with her no more, because she doesn't want to be with me anymore. Does she not have the free will right to be able to say that to you without you getting upset? Which is the reaction state. Now, the reason that I thought, at least in my lifetime, working in the healing peace community, right? And why I'm here, why I chose to be here, is all about healing. Because we know that love is what heals us. Pure absolute love, the pure eternal spirit of fire is what heals us. The accretion level is the capacity to experience more light, which is less resistance to experience more light. Right? So now you're into the accretion levels, right, of creative energy. I'm on fire to create because I love to play music. Right? We're all tuned in with the musical waves, the musical spheres. So I'm reminded, for example, when different relationships that I've had, when I realize I'm measuring the shadow body, which is really what it is how long it's going to take in order for that spirit to be free. And that's much in line with the 12-step program in AA. Step 11, as a result of a spiritual awakening, I have recalled the energy, right? I'm pulling fragments back in. I'm experiencing more of what I remember that I am in spirit form, which is what love is. So you're healing. You're healing within your own soul matrix. Yeah, so now you got more spiritual power. Now your spirit's lit up, right? As we used to say, an 8-day clock. Okay. Now you're free. Your spirit is free. You're free to go. You're free to go. So it's much like I described, for example, with Misha. Okay. She defined the relationship. You're my spiritual partner. We are partners. So I chose you to be in my life because I'm trying to heal me, because I realized that you did within you, within your auric energy field. Because I experienced when our eyes locked, I was experiencing love that I experienced in you, which is what I am. She was experiencing in her, and she wants that, which means she wants to heal herself. Okay? Being in the presence of somebody who's done it, which means I know how to do that. So now what I'm going to do is show you, by virtue of what I am as a demonstration model, what you yourself can do, which means I cannot do it for you, but I can show you how I've done it. And if you can be in the presence of what I am and share with you what I've learned through experience in which it takes place, then you have the opportunity to do that within yourself. But I can't do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. Yeah, and so what that means is when I mentioned about the picture, okay, which means I know how to love her for real. Okay, which means this is not fake. I'm not simulating with you. I wrote down and wrote this girl some of the most powerful love letters that I experienced within my own heart, that of what I'm actually feeling in spirit, what I'm experiencing in spirit form. That fire I have in me. Now I'm sharing that fire within her. Now she's experiencing what I am, which means she's now been lit on fire. Now she realizes you really love me. Yes. So now you're experiencing in you, your spirit form. Now that rock that she said was cold has now been lit up. Like in cold fusion and hot fission. Right? Pull it all together and experience being whole pie again. Now you're free to go, girl. So even though you love me that much, you're going to let me go? Yeah. Now you're on your own. You're a free bird. You're born free. Because you got to know that the first breath of the eternal spirit of fire, which eternal spirit of first creation, is free. So once you're free and your arms are up in the air like a gated Y, and you're happy and joyful, you have returned to form, to spiritual form. Now you're on fire. You're free. Because love is what heals us. Love is what frees us. That's right. Now you're free to go. That's why girls that I knew when I was in junior high school, and I've said this before, I will love you forever and always. And she would say to me, do you tell all the girls that? Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Well, how many girlfriends do you have? Well, how many magnets do you have on that side? So now we're talking about magnets. Yeah. Gender twinning magnets. Okay. This means it's not what you look like. Okay, it's the power of our spirit that is in a uniform. Would you like me to be a giraffe and just hang out near a tree? Oh, you want to be a giraffe for a day. You're going to experience the same love in that giraffe that you'll experience in me in this. That means you're experiencing a present moment, an eternal present moment. You're experiencing the first moment, the first magnetic moment, the first breath of Kamaloati. So I got a kick out of this because I'm going, whoa, that takes me back to when I was a little boy. And I'm thinking to myself, they don't show this stuff to children anymore about how we relate to one another in order to experience perfect balance between two magnets, the polarities, the poles that are arcing, rainbow spheres. Yeah. And so holding spirit molecular bonds captive is a cellular attachment to feed on soul arcing hub spoked heart medicine wheels. So you know what it means to be loved freely, equally distributed throughout the entire spectrum. Yeah. Spectra. Anyway, yeah, this was on Old Time TVG. What a breath of fresh air, because I went and looked at the comments and saw so many people saying, "Gosh, I wish they would have these kinds of instructional videos today for children. Now they can learn about this kind of stuff, you know." And then now you're in the curriculum, and then I was reminded of being in a classroom, and we're going to load some stuff into your memory in order for you to run the codes, which is based on the information that you're now going to record in your cellular memory, because you chose to be in this room and do that, right? In other words, their classrooms. Anyway, have a beautiful day. We love you all. Be good to ourselves.